July 12, 1979. Disco Demolition. Comiskey Park in Chicago became the center of one of the most unusual and controversial events in American sports and cultural history. Known as Disco Demolition Night, the event was intended as a promotional stunt but resulted in a riot that forced the forfeiture of a Major League Baseball game. The historical significance of this event lies in its cultural context, its immediate consequences for baseball, and its lasting symbolism in American pop culture. The promotion was organized by Mike Veeck, the promotions director for the Chicago White Sox, and Steve Dahl, a popular local disc jockey at WLUP-FM. Dahl was a vocal critic of disco music, which he often mocked on air. Capitalizing on the growing anti-disco sentiment among rock music fans, the event invited spectators to bring a disco record to the ballpark for a reduced ticket price of 98 cents, symbolizing the station's 97.9 frequency. The plan was to collect the records in a large box, place them in the outfield between a scheduled doubleheader, and blow them up in a pyrotechnic display. Comiskey Park, already struggling with low attendance, drew an unexpected crowd that night. Estimates suggest that over 50,000 people filled the 44,000-seat stadium, with thousands more attempting to enter. The game was scheduled between the Chicago White Sox and the Detroit Tigers. After the first game concluded with a Tigers victory, the anticipated explosion took place. Steve Dahl, wearing Army fatigues and a helmet, led the crowd in chants of "Disco sucks" before the records were detonated. The resulting explosion tore a hole in the outfield turf. What followed was chaos. Thousands of fans stormed the field, tearing up grass, climbing the foul poles, and starting fires. The Chicago police were eventually called in to restore order, but not before significant damage had been done to the field. The second game of the doubleheader was postponed and later declared a forfeit by American League president Lee MacPhail, awarding the win to the Detroit Tigers. It was only the fourth forfeiture in Major League Baseball in the 20th century. The immediate consequences of the riot were embarrassing for the Chicago White Sox organization. Owner Bill Veeck, known for his innovative but often risky promotions, faced intense criticism. Mike Veeck never worked in Major League Baseball again. The forfeited game remains a rare occurrence in MLB history, underscoring the seriousness with which league officials viewed the incident. Beyond baseball, the event reflected a cultural backlash against the popularity of disco music, which had peaked in the late 1970s. The genre, rooted in African American, Latino, and LGBTQ communities, had become mainstream, prompting a reaction among primarily white rock music fans. While some view Disco Demolition Night as a harmless protest against a musical style, others interpret it as a reactionary movement fueled by cultural and racial tensions. The destruction of disco records, many of which were albums by black artists, raised questions about the motivations behind the anti-disco movement. Comiskey Park, already one of baseball's oldest stadiums by 1979, played a central role in this event. Built in 1910 and home to the White Sox until 1990, the stadium had seen numerous historic moments. Yet, Disco Demolition Night became one of its most famous. The riot is frequently cited in documentaries, articles, and books as a turning point in American pop culture. It signaled the decline of disco's dominance in the music industry and cemented Comiskey's place in American cultural memory. In retrospect, Disco Demolition Night is remembered not just for its immediate fallout, but for its larger symbolic meaning. It reflected shifting cultural tastes, racial dynamics, and the risks of combining sports with provocative promotions. Comiskey Park was the stage for an event that went beyond baseball, illustrating how public spaces can become arenas for broader cultural expression and tension. Though the stadium was demolished in 1991, the memory of that July night remains a defining chapter in the history of American sports and entertainment. For enthusiasts of historical ephemera, visit history-collectors.com to find collectibles that might complement your collection. You can own a piece of history.